Human beings are experiencing a pandemic that we haven't seen in modern times. Medical questions abound across the globe. People need concise, clear, understandable information from someone they trust. That's why Dr. Mac is here. Complicated disease and medication concepts described in ways that anyone can understand. Get ready. This is Dr. Mac.
Hello everyone, and get comfortable. I'm about to teach you all you need to know about diabetes and ways that you can understand it. Let's get started. So I thought first of all, we would look at how diabetes affects the body. Nope. Wrong classroom. That is not the way I teach. Ask any of my patients and they will tell you my style is a little looser than this. So basically, if you're joining me for the first time, I'm Dr. Mac and this is Diabetes Solutions. Let's get to it. This is a little better, no? And now you know you're in the right classroom. So what I thought I would do to start with is start with you as I would start with any patient that sees me for the first time. And this is exactly what I do. I detail for them how diabetes basically affects your body's ability to utilize glucose and move glucose from your blood into the muscles where you need to burn it for fuel. So I'm going to demonstrate that in a way I think you'll understand. What I've drawn for you is a representation of a blood cell that's been cut away from the top part. And you see you have red blood cells floating through your bloodstream. And that's a normal situation, of course. Think about your blood vessels from this point on when you start your journey with me as interstates all throughout your body. Your blood vessels carry everything your body needs, from nutrients to oxygen, glucose, insulin, all throughout your body, and helps everything do its job. The problem with diabetes is not that you don't have enough sugar, it's that you don't have enough sugar moving out of your bloodstream and into the cells that need to burn it for fuel. We're nothing but a big engine, and the engine needs fuel to run, and we're constantly running. So let me demonstrate what happens with diabetes. So again, you've got your blood vessel with your blood cells traveling through. And when you eat food, or even when your liver is feeding you throughout the night while you're sleeping, you start to get glucose in your bloodstream. So you get glucose traveling through your bloodstream as well. And as this glucose starts to rise, and more starts to come into your bloodstream, guess what happens? Insulin is released. So when insulin is released, that becomes the means that we're able to move the sugar out of our bloodstream and into our cells to burn it for fuel. How does this happen? Well, in a normal situation, as the sugar starts to rise and the insulin starts to be secreted as well from the pancreas, this insulin will actually go to we're going to use a muscle cell to begin with. So it goes to your muscle and it interacts with the muscle on a receptor site. And when that insulin touches the muscle at a specific location, what happens is something kind of neat. The muscle will then basically open up a door that now allows your sugar to travel from the bloodstream and into the muscle. And as the sugar gets into your muscle, you get to burn it for fuel. And so now your engine is running perfectly. That's great. What happens in diabetes? Well, essentially you still have sugar, but, instead of having enough insulin now your body's not making as much insulin as it should. So even though your sugar is rising, because of your diet or because the liver's sending out extra sugar. So your sugar's going up. Your bloodstream has plenty of fuel. You may check your sugar and your sugar's 150, 200, 250, and you're wondering, why do I not have any energy? It's because your engine isn't getting the fuel. Why? Because in diabetes, you don't make enough insulin anymore. And so the insulin doesn't interact with the cells as much as it should. And so the sugar is not moving into the cells that need to burn the fuel. What does this mean? Left unchecked, your body will continue to send out sugar from your liver, thinking if your muscles aren't getting the sugar they need and not burning the energy, your muscles think you're not eating. So what do? They call upon your liver to dump out extra sugar, since you must not be eating because they're not getting the fuel, they're not able to function. So now your body starts sending out more sugar. Next thing you know, you've got sugar everywhere. Now your blood sugar is 300, 350. And guess what? You still don't have enough insulin to interact with these cells and open up the doors to let the sugar flow in. That's the first concept of diabetes that you need to be aware of, because this guides when you should be checking your sugar, why we have certain goals for your sugar to be at, whether it's waking or after meals, and what we need to do as far as using which medications to help control this madness. So that's some of the things I'm going to show you. Today, I first wanted to show you the concept of what diabetes is. It's simply the lack of insulin in your body that doesn't allow the glucose to come out of your bloodstream and into your muscles and your other cells in your brain to burn it for fuel. And so without that fuel, you feel sluggish. You feel tired. You have no energy. And yet you're frustrated because you check your sugar and it's plenty high. So why do I not have any energy? Well, it's the same concept as if you had a big plastic drum strapped to the back of your car and you filled that drum up with gasoline. Now you've got plenty of fuel. Your fuel tank's full, the drum is full, but as soon as you start having to go up a hill and expend that energy, guess what's not functioning? The fuel pump. You're not moving the fuel into the engine. And in our case, we're not moving the fuel, the glucose, out of the bloodstream and into our muscles. That is the first thing you need to understand about diabetes, because this concept allows you to understand why we use the medicines we do and why we adjust your medicines based on the numbers that you bring us from your glucometer. These are all key concepts to know. We're going to stop with this today, but if you like what you've seen, hit the like button. If you want to see more simple explanations of diabetes, subscribe. And if you have questions that you want me to answer, please put them in the comments below. Because my point of this entire journey together is to let this be a content-driven series, a journey that we do together, driven by you, your questions. So, hope this helped. I'll be back next week. I promise we'll get better at this. I'm using my son's dry erase board and his dried up markers, but we'll get better. So until next time, I'm Dr. Mac, and this is Diabetes Solutions. Thanks for joining us.
You've been listening to Dr. Mac. Dr. Mac has over 30 years of caring for diabetes patients, tackling some of the simplest to most serious pharmacy questions about medications, doses, interactions. He has a way of communicating about complicated diseases and medication concepts that everyone can understand. Until next time, this is Dr. Mac signing off.